Hey guys, JT. I want to introduce you to the 12-week year. I don't know if you guys have read this book, but it's a fantastic way to condense our goals and get a lot done in a short amount of time. So this entire planning strategy session is going to be based on the information that I extrapolated from this book, and I did design it specifically for what we're doing here. So although the information comes from the book, this presentation is designed particularly for our project. As this first part here talks about our aspirational vision, and what you're going to want to do here is go through and write down, answer the questions that I've put in there, and write down exactly what your vision is. When we come together in our next meeting, the idea will be that we have these prepared and bring our separate visions in and combine those as a company vision, but also make sure that we honor each of your individual visions in the building of this process. It's really important that everybody buy into the process, and part of that is really defining your own vision and then finding a way to relate that to the project as a whole. This next part, guys, you'll want to go into your aspirational vision and you want to pull out something that you feel you can get accomplished in the next 3 years. And based on that long-term vision, you want to just extrapolate something that you really feel you can accomplish in the next 3 years. Now it's time to break that goal down into our 12-week goal. Here we're going to regress just a little bit and ask you some of the why questions as to why these 12-week goals are important. But then it's going to really help you to define those. So take just a little bit here or answer those questions in your packet. Hi guys, so now it's time to go ahead and set 3 specific goals that we plan on getting done in the next 12 weeks. Now this is from your perspective. What are the most important things that we need to get done that we can start on this week? And in this particular case, I'm asking you to look from your perspective and what you think you can do. So assign these goals to yourself. The tactics underneath that are going to be specific action steps that need to be taken in order for you to reach that goal. Do your best to put at least 4 or 5, maybe 6 action steps or tactics underneath that column so that when we meet again, we can say, yeah, I think those are exactly what you need to do, and then help you assign when those things would be due. And also make sure that because we're all working in other jobs right now, that we're taking into consideration how much time it's going to take for each one of those actions. So now we're going to talk a little bit about how you score your week. And what this goes into is your lead and lag indicators. So if my goal were to lose 10 pounds, a lag indicator would be I lost 10 pounds. Or I lost 2 pounds if it's in the first week, or whatever that is. The result is the lag. The lead indicator is what did I do, what were the action steps I took that I knew I had to take to lose that 10 pounds. So in the example here, what that might be is going to the gym 3 times a week, or doing 20 minutes of cardio each day, or doing 3 days of strength training. Whatever it is, those are all lead indicators. If you do those actions, those lead indicators, then the lag indicator or the results show up. The next part of this is you're going to plan your week. And so what it talks about here, and it doesn't have to be exactly like this. You can plan your week Sunday night, or you could do it for 15 minutes the first thing Monday morning. Schedule just like it says here in this worksheet. Go through that, and that's how you make your schedule for the week. And once you've done this, you will have your tactics that you need to be doing in week 1 will be in week 1. And then your tactics that you need to be doing in week 2 are going to be planned into week 2. And you already have those written down. So it should be a pretty easy process to implement this plan. And this will really help accelerate how fast you can get things done. Now we're going to, these 2 worksheets I put here are sample agendas for your strategic block, which is 3 hours. And you saw that in your planning there. And then also your buffer block, which is 30 to 60 minutes. Kind of explains what those might consist of and what they're for. Adding these to your schedule are going to be huge for you in terms of being able to accomplish these goals so quickly. Also, the WHAM that it says to schedule into your plan for the week, which is a weekly accountability meeting. And when he talks about accountability in this sense, it's not really us keeping each other accountable as much as it is, say, me keeping myself accountable to the plan, as well as you guys keeping yourselves accountable to the plan. I threw in some quick success tips. Review your weekly score with a buddy. Commit to make progress each week. And remember that a weekly score less than 85% isn't necessarily bad. Anything above 65%, you're going to be progressing towards your goal pretty quickly. Of course, you want to shoot for 100%. We're all winners and champions in our own rights, and that's what we want to do. But just don't get too caught up if you're getting behind, and reach out to the rest of us on the team and let us know so that we can help you in any way, shape, or form. So this next part right here, guys, is just a guideline for how to make an effective plan structure. And what this does is I took a bunch of ideas from the book and put them all together on one page as to what makes a good, effective plan during this 12-week year program. And I think it's just here really for a resource guide as you're building your plan. But also feel free to reach out to me or any other members of the team if you're struggling a little bit to create this first plan. Just our actions to create greater accountability in your life. What this talks about is it's just another reference guide. A lot of times when we make a plan, we allow that plan to be interrupted by distractions or other things that are always going to come up. The difference is when you take personal accountability and personal responsibility, you just do it. Regardless of what happens, you just get it done. And I know I'm guilty of that sometimes too. And that's why I threw this in here, just to sort of remind us as we're doing this that what we're doing is pretty important. And we want to make sure we stay on task and actually accomplish this so that it can actually help the kids. Right now, it's just a great idea, and it's not helping anybody. This is another reference guide I stuck in here. Just I pulled this straight out of the book, and it talks about 3 principles that you need to keep in mind when you're going through this process. Number 1, you have to be personally accountable for sticking to the process. And number 2, you got to make a commitment. I mean, this is not like, well, I'm going to try it, see if it works, kind of thing. No, commit. I am going to do this. And do it. And then greatness in the moment. And this was fantastic. This is something he talked about, chapter 10 of the book, where greatness only happens in the moment. It's not in the past. It's not in the future. It's right now. So commit to your plan. Be great by taking small actions every day. These next 2 pages here, one is, actually they're both talking about commitments and how we can keep those. So it's just another resource for you as you're building this, tips to help you to be successful, because each member of our team is going to be responsible for their goals and their action steps. And in order for the team to win, we're going to have to all win individually. And this kind of talks to you about those commitments, how we make those commitments, and maybe how we make too many commitments, and we should stop overcommitting ourselves because we're not achieving anything. And I just wanted to throw this in here as a reference guide for all of us. 4 keys to successful commitments, and it just reiterates what we talked about on the last one, and then adds a couple of things like I don't usually consider when I'm making commitments is what is the cost? What is the cost of me, to my family, to my team, to my business? What are those costs? And then is it really worth it to take those costs? And then when we're making our plan and talking about committing to it and sticking to it, these are good things, good considerations to keep in mind as we're moving forward. This right here, guys, is just a little shortcut, little cheat sheet for your to keep this stuff top of mind. And these are keystone actions, key actions that have to take place and maybe have a specific time they have to get done, and then the commitment costs for those actions. And then it's great to keep your 3 goal statements right in front of you. And then the wheel I put on there is just to keep you thinking about what all's involved. What are the real costs of these commitments and these goals? And then who's going to benefit from those? So this just gives you a little more description of what those are and why you need those in your plan to be able to accomplish it. Hi guys, this one I pulled straight out of the book. It's the weekly accountability meeting agenda, and this is an outline for what that weekly meeting should look like. And this is separate from our team meetings, but a meeting of those who are participating in the 12-week year plan, and a way to keep each other accountable and make sure you're on track and offer suggestions. And I think it will be super valuable in helping us to accomplish our goals in a very short order. Okay guys, this is the emotional cycle of change. This is a chart that I took also straight out of the book, and it shows us how when we're getting pumped up, we're uninformed, optimism, we got a great idea, we're super passionate, we're going to do this. Then we sort of get into it, we're starting to implement it, and we get informed pessimism because we're like, oh my God, this is huge, we can't do it. Then we go into the valley of despair, and we're really getting discouraged, and just then everything starts to work out through. So that's why we have this plan, to keep us on track through that valley. And that valley happens to every single person who tries to do something great, which is what we're doing here. And I hope you guys all realize that and appreciate that. And writing down these things are going to help us to stay on track and get it accomplished in a faster time and have real measured action steps that we can really see that we're making progress. Hi guys, I just wanted to finish off this presentation with the 5 disciplines. Here we're talking about vision, planning, process control, measurement, and time use. This is really an incredible time for all of us. These disciplines, if you stick to this, if we all stick to this as we go through this plan, through this 12-week plan, and come out of it, I think, a lot further ahead. We all know that money's coming. We all know that we're going to be doing this full time, and we all know that there is going to be a lot to do, probably way more than we expect. And the reason I wanted to get started now is we can start planning and we can start taking care of the action steps that we can take care of now to get us ready for the money. And so that when the money comes in, we know exactly what to do with it without question, and we'll be ahead of the game. All right, guys, I appreciate you sticking with me through this whole presentation. I hope this helps. I've included in the email a packet with all of these papers in it. And if you'll fill that out, have that ready for the next time we're here, I think we'll have a great and fantastic meeting and really get a good jump to this new year and make this happen.